Dear watchers and listeners, welcome to another edition of ZentraCast. I am Marco Hauen, the founder of ZentraCast, and today let me introduce you to our amazing guest, Nadia Augusto, a salsa-loving neurobiologist, an adventurous nature lover, a guest lecturer at the University of Strasbourg on topics in neuroscience, and since recently, the founder of Neuronatural. A lot of things to talk about today. So, hi Nadia, how are you doing?
Hi Marco, thank you. I'm good. And you?
I'm very, very good. Really happy to have this today. And let me just dive in. It's like today we want to have like a 45 to an hour conversation. Now, conversation starts with the first question, so I prepared one.
Okay.
So during our preparation for this conversation, a mantra came back several times. You are your only limit, Nadia said. So what does this mantra really mean to you?
Oh, it means many things because it comes from my teenagerhood. I had it from there. It means for me that you have your inner power, and the power is inside you, and you can use it. It's like when you want to do something, you can have the power to do things and to set things to reach your goals. It doesn't mean it will be easy, not at all. Sometimes you need to go also inside yourself to see what's going on, but it means like, for me, it helped me to go back to myself, and even without the external environment, whatever happened, it will not a limitation. I am my only limit. If you want to do something, even if in life sometimes there are situations that are repeating themselves again, bad situation, and after one point when you want to change this, you see that, oh, I don't want to live this anymore, I need to change something. Sometimes you just realize that, oh, it's actually my behavior or my bad habits, or it's again linked to yourself, and so it's a way to have the power from yourself, to feel it inside yourself. I don't know if it's that clear. I mean, I remember, for example, I give an example. When I was teenager, some persons in my family was limited themselves a lot. Oh, we don't have money, we don't have the skills, we don't have this, we cannot do this, we cannot do that. And I was very frustrated, to have always those limitations, those boundaries. And I promised to myself at that time that I didn't want to have the same boundaries. And once I was surfing on internet and I have read these sentences, you are your only limit. And it was like, wow, an enlightenment, I thought, yeah, this is true. It's just the excuses we tell to the stories we tell to ourselves. I cannot do this, I cannot do that. But if you don't try, you don't know if you cannot do it. So since this day, I thought, okay, I am my only limit. And when I want to do something, first I will try. I will see if there is really a limit there or not. But first you need to try before to. So yeah. This mantra comes from.
I love it. Actually, what you say by that is like you were driven by some kind of and let me now exaggerate maybe a little bit, by some kind of a pain, which was the fact that your surroundings were creating limitations you didn't want to accept, and your brain was looking for a solution, or whatever, your mind was looking for a solution, and you found this phrase. How old were you then?
Sorry?
How old? What was your age when you came?
I was 14 years old. Yeah, 14 years old. Yeah, and yeah.
Wow. That's a great moment.
Yeah. And starting from this, actually, I made many of my decisions based on this. Like, even if I remember when I had some big fears, I thought, no, but I want to do it. So I thought, okay, let's just try, even if you are scared of it. And I did, and sometimes it was a success, or I could reach my goals. For example, when I lived 1 year in Canada, and I want to travel alone across the whole Canada. But I was so scared with my backpack alone at 20 years old, you know. I was not speaking English at that time.
Well, that
So,
changed.
yeah, that's strange. That's why. So it was one reason why I want to travel alone in the English-speaking part of Canada. And I was so scared, but I went, and finally, it was the most amazing journey I had. You know, so and now I'm not scared anymore to travel alone. I know I can do it. You know, for example, and I think in daily life is the same. Huh? We tell ourselves many stories, many excuses. It's kind of a protection sometimes. It protects you because you have your fears, you have your past experience. The past experiences can be bad as well. So, yeah, it's a way of protecting also. So,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, you would say like that you are your only limit was the starting point of your conscious journey towards yourself, towards your future. Is that how you would describe it?
no, it was not the starting point.
How was that? Can I ask what was? Are you ready to share?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but I was younger. I was even younger, you know, because I had kind of a gift from my parents. Um, when I was very little, actually, they both told me like, "Oh, Nadia, you know, later you will spend a lot of time at work. So the first criteria to choose a job is to love it." They told me this. So first you need to love, at least like your job.
No.
I was little, you know, and so obviously I start to wonder what I like in life, what I want to do. So I try when I like something. I remember I was trying to find the job fitting to it. Obviously, I never found it, never.
Till
So,
now.
but sorry.
Until now. Now you have
Until
found.
now, now I start to do
We'll
my
talk later
own way.
about that.
Yeah, maybe later. Yeah. So yeah, that's why. And you know, I remember when I realized that I love nature. I wanted to understand how nature works, how the human body works, the interaction between human and environment. And I was thinking, oh, there is biology. I start to read biology books when I was in high school. And once I asked my dad, like, but you know, if I go to do this biology bachelor, I will not have a job after. Biologist is not a job, you know. It's just you understand the nature, and that's it. And my dad said to me, and it's another gift from him, like he told me, you know, Nadia, in every field there are people, they work in any field, you know. It can be theater, it can be to be a novelist, whatever, you know. And we need those people. But the one who find job and succeed, it's the one who are the best because they are passionate by what they are doing. So if you love biology, if it's your passion, you will be very good and you will find a job. Don't worry. He told me this. And since this moment, I thought, okay, I follow what I love. So I did a bachelor in biology. I loved it, but very quickly I was a bit bored. It was very interesting, but I thought, oh no, I want to study the brain. It's mysterious. I love psychology. I can combine it, you know. And so, yeah, so after I did neuroscience and yeah, things, after I did my own way, actually, like this. Yeah.
It's
So,
really interesting. What you maybe to recap, if you have, is that it's about our conditioning. So the
yeah.
first conditioning you were sharing with us today was that you were shared conditioning of boundaries, which created for you a mantra, which is still the mantra you are using most likely every day. And then on the other side, you were in a situation where you get incredibly supported to do what you love, which is beautiful,
Mm,
and parents come for support. So there is actually what comes up for me when I hear it is that it is not so much about what we are conditioned with, but it is more about our interpretation of with what we are conditioned with, because it could have gone totally differently. It's like you say, oh yeah, my parents always want me. They don't want me to find a stable job. I don't know. And that could have been the other side, and the the logic of you are your only limit. It could have been, yeah, I don't want this, but I want these boundaries. They are making me feel safe. Blah blah blah. So it's like we are the masters of our own interpretations. That's what I want to come up with, and that's what I
Yeah.
hear when I hear you. So it's beautiful. But I want to jump on something you said, because it's like I felt this passion right away. You said, "Yeah, I wanted to understand the brain," and why? What
Yeah,
made you understand the brain?
yeah. At that moment, neuroscience were raising, let's say. I don't know if you can say this, but it was still, we didn't know so much the brain. And then for me, it was, I think there was two things. First, this I didn't know at that moment why I choose neuroscience, but it was to understand myself better. It's what was I looking for, and I thought if I understand the brain, I understand better also my behaviors and many things related to it, so I could understand myself better. But the second thing is also I had since I was teenager, I was convinced that with your thoughts you can do many things. You can even cure your body. We know that, for example, Joe Dispenza, he explained very well how stress can lead to disease, and your stressful thoughts actually lead to a body physical disease. So, and I was convinced of this, and I want to understood the process of it. And yeah, that's why it was just simply this. And even now, I'm like, the brain is not that mysterious to me anymore. For many people it is, but for me it's like, yeah, finally it's just a organ in the body. He's organizing the body. That's why he's here actually, because not all animals have such a complex brain. When you have a very complex brain, it's just to organize a complex body with it. If not, the brain is just useless. So, and that's why I came back recently to the body. Actually, I understood how the body is so important in our health, in our emotions. Emotions come from the body. It's not in our head, for example. I think it's really a journey. I'm passionate by human being as well, so I want to understand the human being, and brain was a very good door to find out, and to have many answers actually. So yeah, I think also, as you said in the introduction, because many people told me this, I'm quite adventurous and I love mysteries. So yeah, that's why also I study by myself a lot psychology. I love psychology books, spiritual books, neuroscience books, like all of these mysteries. Yeah.
Mystery. How does that all come together? It's like now we really went from brain to body, to the brain-body relationship, to spirituality. It's like, okay, where do I go now?
Well, brain, for me at that time was also related to consciousness.
Yes.
And it's quite mysterious when it comes from, this consciousness of ourselves first, not only on the environment, but also to be more conscious of your behavior, your habit, your conditioning. And I think it's very important if you want to evaluate in your life, to have a good evolution, to understand what happened, past events. For me, to be conscious of yourself is a good basics to know better yourself. That's what I try actually. I would like to try with my new company, with my future clients. So yeah. It's also very important. And the brain, you can understand many things because you have different layers in the brain. The most superficial is the conscious processes. When you go deeper in the brain, it's the unconscious processes. Also, the structures of the brain tells many things about how the human consciousness works, actually. So, yeah, but I don't know if it's the moment to go in detail of all this neuroscience knowledge.
Nah, it's
I
interesting.
don't.
It's for sure a way something we can talk about. We still have some time. Uh, there's a burning question on my lips, which is actually something I want to understand since quite a long time, and maybe you have the answer. So I didn't prepare you for that. So if not, that's totally fine. It's like when we talk French, we always talk la conscience.
Ah oui.
And so, and I love English because in English we talk about awareness and about consciousness. And I don't know if you have a take on the difference between awareness and consciousness.
For me, it will be my answer. It's not a
That's the
true.
one I ask.
Yeah, for me, so exactly in English, there is this difference. Aware, it's more about to be conscious is more deeper. Aware is just, it can be aware, just I'm aware of I'm touching my hand, I'm aware of I'm seeing you, it's more related to sense.
Okay.
And more concrete with matter, kind of. And consciousness is more deeper, it's more global, Also, I think when you speak about consciousness, it goes more to behavior, mind, conscious of, yeah, where you are in the society, you're a global vision, actually. So it's more deeper, yeah, it's deeper, sorry.
Yeah, no, I like it, and when I came up with the model, the eternal art of being, uh, everything turns around self-awareness, awareness of self, and then I created also like the term for on the eternal part of the model. I talk about consciousness of all, which exactly comes to your point. But I didn't think about it. Like for me, it was like okay, made sense, and I agree. I think it's awareness.
In the brain, sorry.
No, please.
Yeah, no, in the brain, for example, we can take an analogy like the brain has different states, okay? And when you are focused actually on something, like I feel like I'm touching my hand, now my focus is there, But when I think when I'm doing meditation, for example, when I do mindfulness, it's like it's not a focus on something. You are really you have this attention, global attention, and it's kind of consciousness, let's say, It's not, you're not, yeah, one focus on a point, but you are able to see more globally everything. So you feel many things at the same time. There is your thoughts. You can be conscious of your thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, I always call it's like it's beyond the win-win. The win-win is like okay, we both get something out of it. And consciousness is we are aware of all the ecosystems have to win in an action to have it a real sustainable action. And now I'm going down my road. So
I don't know for you how it is exactly in your model, for example, how you see it, like, or if you
yeah,
always
so
from my experience of just be aware. I'm aware, like, yeah, I'm cooking, or something very basic, and
for me it's really being aware of myself. So
mm,
awareness of self is a daily. No, it's way more than a daily. It's something which happens almost all the time. Where I say, "Oh, you reacted again like that," or "Oh, you." It's like it's more about seeing myself as I am at that moment, and
okay,
going into consciousness or consciousness of all is then going beyond it, accepting it, loving it, even so it's maybe not something we normally love. It's like, I just take an example when I have, the ones who triggering fathers most are their daughters. It's like when my daughter triggers me and I get angry or so on. It's like uh, seeing seeing it is the first step, being aware of it. Right?
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Then the next step is very dangerous because we most of the times then want to bash ourselves up for it. We want to we become angry with ourselves, saying, "Oh yeah, how can you do that? She's such a lovely girl." Blah blah blah. So you get on all this self judgment, and
Mm.
consciousness of all is it's beyond that. It's about the acceptance and the surrender to who you were or are at that moment, and
Mm.
it's also the acceptance or the consciousness that everything happens for a reason, and
Mm.
that's what happened, and that's great. That's now it's water on the bridge,
Yeah.
and so that's where I see consciousness coming in. So that's where the model. That's where we are able to go beyond our normal conditioning, because our conditioning is to be empathic, empathetic is to be nice, to yeah, and to self-judge and to say I really should have not have done that. So that's what
Mm. Yeah. To be kind with ourselves first, to be able to
yeah,
be kind with others, and empathy is the same. Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Exactly.
absolutely. It's
Mm.
we always forget. Well, our society teaches us to be kind with people, to like all this behavioral stuff, which is very important so that our society can function.
Mm.
But it doesn't teach us that actually it comes from inside, not from
Yeah.
outside. And it doesn't
Sure.
teach us that if we want to love, we have to love ourselves. I
Mm.
have a hard time. I had a hard time, and still, on some level, have a hard time with that because it is something. It's a process. But somebody said to me recently, remember that you can only be loved as much as you love yourself.
Mm.
Actually, it's quite a deep
Yeah.
sentence because
Yeah.
so many people they longing for the love, and I was like in
Mm.
my life, like when I was a teenager, when I was young, I was longing for that love. That for me, it was more than love; it was more about the deep connection. But
Mm.
I only recently found out that if I want to have a deep connection with people, I have to look at a deep connection with myself.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
then in society you will be told that this is egocentric and so on, but it
Mm.
is the opposite of egocentric, as long as it is not driven by the ego, as it
Yeah.
is just by the will of growing and to become a better version of ourselves, and then
Exactly.
we can only give.
Yeah. I think to love someone, you need to the true love is to accept the other person how she is. To not try to change her, to not try to have high expectations. It's not easy at all as a human being, but when you realize that it's sometimes I see some persons that have very high expectations with the others because they have high expectations with themselves. It's also self-judgment, and it's to be tough. And obviously if you are like this with yourself, you cannot be in another way with others. So if you are
Mhm.
tough with yourself, you are tough with others as well. So yeah,
Totally,
you need
totally.
to.
I can tell a lot of stories about that, like when I was running a global operation. I didn't sleep, I didn't eat, I just was running around the world, and I expected that from anybody to do the same who was in my team. Was that
I,
what? Yeah, on the logic of our society, that's really cool because you have expectations, you walk your talk, and all these sentences are taken as important and interest or like as success factors in a way. At the end, that is not always the case. So it's something you have to look very carefully if it is really what you want to do, or if you're running for the recognition of the society for it.
Mm.
Now I talked a little bit too much, and I have another question for you, if you don't mind. It's like another thing which came up when we prepared is, and I love that, is you talk about joy. Joy is a driver in life. And please tell me about that joy.
That joy, yeah. First, we can quickly explain what are emotions, so we will understand better joy. Like emotions are guiding us, it's like some signals from our body telling something to our brain, so the brain can adapt our behavior depending of the situation. So joy is the most pleasant emotion, obviously, because joy is telling you, oh, I love this, actually, I like this, just keep on this way. And for example, you are sad, the sadness comes to tell you, like, it's not for you anymore, this is past, it will not comes back, and now you need to kind of forget it, kind of, and be in the present. So you need to adapt your behavior. Or anger, when you're angry, it means someone or something gets into your personal space, physical or psychological, and you are angry because you want to push away this intrusion. So it will change your behavior. If you push away someone, if you cry, or if you're happy, it's not the same, obviously. And I think it's also come from the joy. I said, I love to follow my joy, to lead myself on a daily basis, because it's come from also my parents. They told me you need to find a job you love, first criteria. Second, obviously, you have to earn money enough to live. It was the second one. But the first was to enjoy what you're doing. And I realized, for example, for my studies, when I was studying for an exam or something, some people were saying, oh, it's hard, I don't want to study this, that, it's painful. But me, no, I was loving it. So, so it's your motivation, it's a motor, you're doing things. And so this joy, even if, for example, now I'm currently in the process of launching a company. There are paperworks to do. I don't like this, but I know why I'm doing, because behind there is this joy of opening my company, So the final goal makes me happy. So I can also do things that I don't like, it's because behind you have this sense also of life. Joy gives you a pleasure also in the brain, because I know you like neuroscience. When you feel joy, it's like kind of a reward. It activates the reward circuits in the brain, and you have more dopamines. And it's very nice to have more dopamines, by yourself, not from something, not from a drug, not from nicotine, not from no, from yourself, and it's amazing.
So how do you?
You see, it's come from still inside yourself, and not from an outside external parameters, whatever it is, it's related to addiction.
It's interesting. So what I hear you say is that we should look for joy in anything, rather than in something specific.
We should look for joy, but it doesn't mean you will not experiment not bad but unpleasant emotions. I mean, it's part of the human being. Sometimes it's normal to feel sadness, anger, or other emotions. But when you feel those unpleasant emotions, you have to move. Emotion, move, do something, change to find back your joy. It's this what it means. And I think also, if you follow, joy is guiding us to be on your path. If you are happy, if you experiment joy, you are on your path, actually. You are on the right place. It's here. That's why you experiment joy. If not, you wouldn't. If not, you could be bored. Many people in their job, they are bored of what they are doing, or and they don't have joy.
What can
No,
they do to enjoy?
you disagree.
No, I don't disagree. Absolutely not. I totally agree. What I'm interested is in, like, let's give them one or two ideas so that they can have joy.
Some examples, you mean, or
Yes.
ideas how to find your own joy.
Yes.
There are things I like to do with clients. Is like when they have no ideas of what make them happy again, it's to kind of do a relaxation, close the eyes, relax first. I do a kind of short relaxation, and after to try to lead them in their childhood back, when there was still these little children, inside yourself, the one who were happy for anything, spontaneously, And a simple exercise is also to try to remember when you were a child, and remember what you loved to do naturally. You could spend hours to doing this. And sometimes it can be, I don't know, drawing. For me, it was spending times in nature, for example, but it can be anything, it can be mechanic, whatever, and just try to reconnect with such activities, if you are completely disconnected to this, and see what's happening. If it's still for you, if it's not for you anymore, if you can find joy again, like the little child who want to do this during hours, for example. It's an example.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Let's make it practical for the people listening.
Okay.
There's something else.
I didn't prepare anything, Marco.
Sorry?
I didn't prepare anything.
I love that. That's why we do this stuff live, because then it's live for you and for me. It's like I come up with the questions on the fly, and you with the answers. That's the best thing to do. I hear you speak a lot about goals, so I really feel you being very driven differently than a lot of people I meet. And actually that's what is so intriguing talking to you. Is like very driven, but driven on a calmer way. Maybe that's the best. What I hear is a lot about goals. What I would like to know is, how do you handle, if at all, how do you handle intentions in the light of your goals?
Intentions? You mean when I have an intention for my life or for a goal, I want to do something, how do I handle it?
Yes.
But first, obviously, I analyze this a lot, my situation, what I want to do, what is my goal, if it's easy or not to reach it, what kind of resources I need. And it can take a long time before I start to do something. First, I'm thinking a lot, and so I'm quite in my mind thinking how I can do. And after one point, if I really feel, if there is this joy, I'm driven by joy actually. If I feel like inside, like just to, most of the time I do this visualization exercise. It's also an exercise for the ones who are listening to us. It's like I can also close my eyes, relax, and try to see myself already there. When I will reach this goal, how I feel. And if I feel, I don't know, nothing specific, or even bad, unpleasant emotion, I will be, maybe it's not for me. But if I feel joy, I feel, oh yeah, I want to be there. Yeah, I want, but it's come from inside, this I want to be there. It's from inside that it's pulling me. It's not something external pushing me. Like external pressure of, I don't know, money. There are many people who have this. I have to pay my rent, to buy food, all of the stuff. It's more something external, even Yeah, when a boss tell you you have to do this, it's something external again, or when you have your fears because you said, oh, not like most of people, they are driven not the same way than you. I see that many people are driven by fears because in society many things are based on fear. You have to find a good job to survive. You have to this. You have to do that, and we are scaring us. With all of those sentences. It's
Yeah.
like, so if you're driven by fear, obviously it's another energy than joy, so it cannot be the same results as well. It's like the intention will not be the same.
I
It's the
love it
same
because
recognition. If you look for
yeah,
recognition from external, maybe your parents, you didn't
mhm.
feel enough recognition from your parents, and after you will look for recognition, so there will be not parents anymore, but from your boss, from your hierarchy, because it's still over you. So this is start to be psychology, let's say, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's really interesting because as an entrepreneur and well,
Oui.
creating quite a lot of startups over the last 20 years, I was always a little bit disempowered by simple goals. So for me, the
Mm.
intention linked with the goal was so important because it allows me today to walk towards my goal. I call it with grace, rather with than suffering. Now, your answer to the question is beautiful because for you there is only the intention is only joy. So it's like there is no
No.
huh?
No,
Sorry,
no. Intention
no,
is not only joy, but intention. When you have an intention and it's
yes,
linked to your joy, it will drive
yes,
you from
yes.
inside to your goal. It means you can also face some fears when you want to reach big goals. But after you can work on it, get conscious of it, and go over it.
Yes,
Yeah.
but and thank you for the clarification because that's absolutely what I heard. I just didn't express it right. It's joy is driving your intention. So you will always create an intention which is driven by the joy, and it can only be a goal which at the end will provide you joy. Beautiful.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Now we talked a lot about neuroscience. We talked about we went a little bit into psychology. Let's talk about nature. What about this passion for nature? Tell me about it.
This, I think it's natural. You can ask my siblings and my parents. I was always outside with trees next to river. I think what I like in nature first is quite peaceful. And these there are scientific studies saying like when you are in nature, the mind relaxes. It gets slower. The brain waves are getting slower, like more alpha waves and stuff like this. But anyway, it's more peaceful, and I find myself better there. Especially I love to walk alone in nature because I feel like I can connect better with myself. It's like nature can be myself as well. To connect with your environment and. Yeah. Anyway, it's a natural way of living, because when you live in big cities surrounded by grayish building, it's not natural for a human brain. It's called what Idris Aberkan called neuroergonomy. He said
Yeah.
neuroergonomy, it means where it's ergonomic for your brain to be, to work the best, even to be efficient. You can speak about leadership, but and nature is it's better than buildings. It's a fact because the evolution. I'm sorry, but the evolution made us in nature. So yeah. And I don't know, it's something natural. I have this when I'm little, very little. And I guess that's why I was so curious about biology, simply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually fascinating. Neuroscience, biology, neurobiology, now neuronatural.com.
Yeah.
So it's like everything prepared you on your journey to do what you do now,
Yeah.
and Please tell me about it. What's neuronatural?
Yeah, actually, but to understand the story of neuronatural, you should know that before, that before I was working with neurotechnologies in a clinic for the brain health, so helping the brain to recover by itself with neurotechnologies. It was very interesting, even sometimes exciting, but I realized after one moment that it was not for me. I need to go back more to nature, natural things, natural techniques to cure yourself, to help the body to repair itself, to help the brain to cure itself, because we have all these capacities inside our body. And I discovered naturopathy. So it's a way of curing the body in a natural way, the most natural way. And I loved it. I really loved it. And I realized that, if you want to help the brain for the brain health, well-being, you need to take care of all the body. As I explained before, our brain is highly connected to the body. You cannot just take care of this and not all of this. So, and I start to take some trainings, to read a lot about naturopathy, essential oil, Bach flowers, diet, the most natural diet, stuff like this. And I cured myself. And now I want to offer it to the others through my new company, NeuroNatural. So it's natural methods applied for the brain well-being. So, and it will be there are methods for the mind, but also for the body, because we need to treat both. So
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a way to combine neuroscience with the human mind, human being, and the nature. So it's totally what I love. Yeah.
So what do you propose? What concretely is your offering when you work?
So I'm launching now my first program. It's for depressed person. Okay, it's on 6 months where we will explore different things. There are emotional management techniques, obviously. There are also I check the diet and maybe to change it a little bit with the person, because you may know it, but our emotional brain is in the belly. Our gut is our emotional brain, and we know now that the microbiota, so the bacteria in our gut, are highly influenced. They are influencing a lot the brain in the head. So it's very important also a good diet, especially in depression. So diet, emotional management, also some soft body stimulation to treat the body. There are a few things, few things. And my second, I will do, not yet, but soon I will do a second program for burn-in and burnout, because it's also very important, I think, nowadays to find natural solution for such a state. Yeah. Exhausting.
Burnout, I heard. Burn-in? What's a burn-in?
Burn-in, actually, it's just before the burnout. Actually, burnout is overused, because burnout is really it's the last state.
I believe you.
When you are in burnout, it's the body cannot work anymore. Sometimes people, they want to get out of the bed, they cannot. The body doesn't respond. Or you go to work and you lost your consciousness and you wake up to the hospital and your body doesn't respond anymore, and you are 3 months at the hospital, sometimes even more, because you cannot take care of yourself. I had even a previous client, she couldn't eat, she with the spoon, she couldn't take her spoon, she didn't have enough energy. So the nurse had to give her the food, So this is a real burnout, okay? So it's out. Burn-in, you are in the process of being exhausted, You are burning your energy, but you are not yet at this burnout state. And burn-in, if it's an advanced burn-in, obviously it also has to be how to say, diagnosed by the doctor, and it's better to stop work for a while and to recover, because stress and fatigue chronically on the long term, it creates also a lot of disease. So you need to take care of it. Yeah. And many people actually reach the advanced burn-in, but they are not yet in burnout. Voilà. But even an advanced burn-in, you need to handle it. Yeah. So
Yeah,
this is the difference.
yeah, I like that. How you explain it. Not that I like the burnout, but I met people who had intense burnouts where, as you say, 3 months in hospital, almost died literally
Yeah.
because of burnout. And
You really barely you
it's
can die.
overused, so I totally agree. It's overused. Like today, everybody has a burnout. We all are fatigued because we are not doing what we love, or a lot of us are not doing what we love. So we fatigue, but that is not a burnout. So I really appreciate the clarification here.
Yeah, sometimes burnout is also confused with depression, because burnout can also come with a depression, but sometimes there is only a burnout and not a depression. That's why it's also important to clarify and to check if you have only burnout, only depression, or both of them. Because in depression you can also feel also a lot of fatigue, and you feel like exhausted, but it's more mentally because you have no motivation anymore to do something. Burnout is really a physical fatigue. It's the body that doesn't want to do anything. But there are people in burnout, they are still motivated. They are stuck at home in their bed, but they think, okay, when I will feel better, I will do this. And you also need to educate them, like, okay, it's good to do things, but also learn to be, just being relaxed, being joyful, being, the thing. I know it's your topic, so.
Yeah,
no,
that's what I love to talk
yeah.
about. I always ask myself, like, I was never diagnosed anything because I'm not the big doctor lover. So, but in 2000, well, let me get to my figures straight. In 2014, after very heavy deception business-wise, very, very heavy, I have had, I really felt very, very down. It's like, but it was never at the point where I had to go to, well, I was still able to put my pants on in the morning, so it was okay. But it doesn't feel funny. So if there is anybody who can support you to get out of that, hey, contact Nadia. She will do that.
Exactly.
Nadia, anything, because we're already almost out of time. So anything you would like to share? You would like to share before we close our session today?
I would like to share the two main things we said before, like you are your only limit, and please follow your joy. Because why is no, just one last remark about joy.
I love it.
When someone is joyful, it feels good also for others, and you kind of helping the others. Yes. Nobody needs you on this planet to be sad, angry, or bored what you are doing. So it's important, when you are joyful, you also help the others. That's why take care of yourself first, and the other things will come by itself. Yeah, that's what I want to share.
I don't want to add anything on that, because it's just beautiful. Thank you so much, Nadia, for your time. I hope maybe there are more things to come, which Nadia and myself will do together. We'll see in the next few weeks. And thank you so much, and have an extraordinary day.
Yeah, thank you, Marco. Marco, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very happy to have this conversation with you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.